Cowboys OT from the Star in Frisco as Dallas gets a 25-10 win over the Washington Commanders in Week 4 of the NFL season. Kyle Yeomans with you as we continue to look at post-game reaction following the third straight win for the Cowboys, who now improved to 3-1. But through his 4 career starts, Cooper Rush now the only Dallas Cowboys quarterback to win all 4 first career starts. And we're going to hear from him at AT&T Stadium after the win.
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Can you start with one time you were down this game, 7-6. You and the offense came back for a 75-yard drive. Kind of the same thing in the third quarter of that Giants game. Can you talk about the drive today specifically and just this offense's ability to kind of, in the moment, to make those momentum changing?
Yeah, we had a couple key third downs there. MG catches the 3rd and 8 ball, gets us going, found some rhythm. Got a penalty, kept us alive. Those are huge. Once we just get momentum, we just, got to stay ahead of the chains, and we can feel as an offense. We just can't beat ourselves, and, we got players everywhere. We run the ball, and that was a big drive.
Hey, Cooper, Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Talk about MG, critical 3rd down conversion, touchdown, 2 downfield penalties committed to try to contain him. What was his impact in his first game back?
Yeah, it's exactly what you expected from him. I mean, he looked like Michael Gallup. Big-time play, run the back of the end zone there, getting open. Big-time 3rd down, like I said. Drew the holding call, which, he beats the guy off the line right away. I mean, he's gone. And another PI. So, big-time player. We're really happy for him. That was, I think, big for him, just to go back out there and, I'm still Michael Gallup and can go make plays, and it's really going to help us.
Cooper, Newey Scruggs, NBC Dallas. Can you give me a sense as a quarterback what it is like having a defense that keeps you in the football game, that you don't have to immediately go and score a point, that you can take some time and not rush them?
Yeah, they're the reason we're winning. I mean, it's just plain and simple. Those guys, 10 points in the NFL is pretty impressive. And we gave them, they had really good field position all day. And our defense just kept them out of the end zone, kept getting off the field. As an offense, knowing that they have your back like that, it's huge. It's one of their messages is we have everyone's back, and they walk the walk.
Cooper, Todd Archer of the ESPN. On Michael's touchdown, how quickly do you see him running away from the linebacker? Are you throwing it to a spot? Is that something you guys work on in practice when you get out of the pocket like that?
Yeah, we always do the scramble drill. That's a staple, and he's caught a lot of touchdowns like that over the years. Dax hit him on the back line on a scramble, and we just came out, saw CD there, then kind of behind CD, 13's hauling. He's hauling. You're like, okay, he's coming. Just finds the window, and he did a great job. Just keep running, left himself some room back there, get his feet down, and just a classic MG play.
You guys didn't run it well, but how much of the attempts, because you did have a lot of attempts, open up things up for the passing game?
Yeah, they're going to want to stop our run game, and we were able to get some big play action passes down the field today, and they have a really good front. That front is as good as it gets. So we knew it was going to be a tough challenge to run it, but, we stuck with it, and it opened up, I think, some of the deeper shot plays, the one to Noah down the middle, and other opportunities. Everything's based off the run game, and, we got to keep running it.
Anybody? Tom? You're 4-0 as a starter. You're the first Cowboys quarterback to do that. First quarterback to win his first 4 starts since 2018, 2019, something like that. What's this ride like?
It's been fun. Try and enjoy it. The NFL doesn't let you enjoy it much. You got to go in, week out and play. But, the 4-0 is just, you guys saw today, the defense and, all the breaks we catch. And, it's just kind of lucky. QB win stats they are what they are. It's a team game, and, it's nice having those the defense have our back like that, and some special team plays, and Brett's making kicks, and we're doing just enough on offense.
You said lucky. You had some lucky. Do you feel you were lucky? A couple of those interceptions, were called back because of penalties.
One was holding right away. The one to TP, we knew that. Had to get rid of that one too because we were in the end zone, and we liked the matchup. It was a good call by Kel. We had it, and then the other one, they caught us on 3rd down. Bad decision by me, but it was lucky.
You say
I love the demeanor from Cooper Rush. You never get too high, you never get too low. Steady hand all the way through, and you can even hear it in the postgame press conferences after the 25-10 win over the Washington Commanders. Here with Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback, two former Cowboys, soon to be joined by Barry Church. But Nate, I'll start with you. 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, but no interceptions. Cooper Rush still hasn't thrown an interception this year. He had a couple of them, like he just talked about, called back. But how big has his control of the game been for this Cowboys offense?
He know where to go. He go with his first read, he go to his second read, and then he let it go. I mean, either he get rid of the ball. So he knows where he's going. They keep a tight game plan for him, I think, and he just manages the game real well.
You know what? Sometimes it's better to be lucky on days like today. But aside from those couple errors, he's done a great job of managing this team. Luckily, things worked out for him in that regard where they did not have the actual interceptions, right? Plays got turned around because of penalties on fault of Washington. But overall, he's doing a great job of managing this team. You see the stat line, ultimately the best stat line, W's.
Hey, that's exactly right. And Cooper Rush is always going to tell you that it's never going to be the 15 of 27. He did have a plus 100 passer rating today, but it was the win that really matters. And they've gotten 3 straight with him at quarterback. We'll see what Dak Prescott's availability is moving forward when he's ready to come back. But Cooper Rush doing a great job as the backup. When we come back, defense has been doing a great job as well. We'll hear from DeMarcus Lawrence after this. Cowboys OT here from the Star in Frisco. And while there were only 2 sacks of Carson Wentz at the quarterback position, this front 7 for Dallas continues to get after opposing quarterbacks. 17 sacks on the season now, and they continue to play really well. But let's hear from both DeMarcus Lawrence and Neville Gallimore, who had big-time matchups against their offensive line counterparts, and they had some success today.
Say about the last 3 games, resilience you guys have.
It's just a testament to our work that we put in each and every week. We know what type of team we got in this locker room. It's just really about us just staying together and, keep rolling.
How different is the feeling being in this room post-week 1 to right now?
I like to shed light on our losses, but, it's a part of the game. You win some, you lose some, but, we get another opportunity each and every week to go out here and put our talents on display, and that's what we did tonight.
When he had 2 intentional roundings, that seems to kind of speak to him being frazzled when he goes to pressure. Did you kind of sense that your front was just keeping him constantly uncomfortable throughout the game? What was the feeling on the field like?
Yeah, we know we real up front, and that's a testament to our rush that we put on for the last couple of weeks. So, if you was quarterback, you would be a little flushed too. So.
That's true. What can you say about those interior guys, what Neville and Osa have been able to do?
Yeah, man. Our interior guys did a hell of a job today, but also throughout their camp and throughout the season so far. I feel like they've been holding down the middle. They've been playing a hell of a job on the run, but also they still pushing the pocket for our pass rush. So much love, boys. The stats speak for itself. We got talent all over the place, and being able to put that talent on display and hold teams to less than 17 points. I'd say yes.
You guys had so many takeaways last year, only 2 this year heading into tonight. Did that feel good for you guys to get some takeaways?
Oh, it's a lot more coming. It's still early. Give us time, brother. Give us time.
You guys though?
Yeah, but we understand like the game don't always go as you plan. So I mean, you have to prepare for the worst, but also take advantage of your opportunities when they come. Thank y'all.
Absolutely, and again, it's a part of the process, and we know, at the end of the day, every week we're just trying to make sure we're at our best. We want to compete, we want to showcase, what our defense has been putting into, in practice and showing that on the field today. And just like that, we got a good win against a good team, but we could take it in the day, but tomorrow is back to work.
Can you kind of speak to the defensive coaching and the way you guys feed off each other? You got that sack early, and it just kind of seemed like everybody was building from there.
Absolutely, and the one thing I'll say, man, I love my D-line room because we're just so close, and we got just, dogs all across the border. So we know that, just like how in every game, it's those guys up front that started off. So we know we make that a point to set the tone and continue to make that push throughout the game.
You guys have only given up 1 touchdown per game so far. I think the leader last year hit 2 per game. What is the ceiling you feel like for this defensive group as a whole?
I feel like there is no ceiling. At the end of the day, we know what we got in that room. And, again, it's just an opportunity that we got to use to get that much better. And we know we're not nearly where we need to be yet, but we're getting there.
3-1. A lot of people thought the season was over when Dak went down. Here you have 3 straight wins. What can you say to the resiliency of this group?
It's a long season, but, again, we're locked in, and we know what we got to do. I'm not really supposed to be drinking this on camera. It's actually water in here. It just looks like Mountain Dew. It's just water.
Back here is, Neville Gallimore very happy with the win. You can tell it there. And there's a whole new level of swagger with this defense, Barry Church and Nate Newton, that hasn't been present for a Cowboys team in quite some time. Sure, last year you had the emergence of Michael Parsons and Trayvon Diggs, but is this the new identity of this team altogether? This organization is the way this pass rush and this defensive line gets after opponents?
Without a doubt, in my opinion, this pass rush is definitely the strength of this team. I mean, when you have guys like Neville Gallimore, DeMarcus Lawrence, Parsons out there getting after the quarterback week in and week out, these guys seem unblockable out there. And like Isaiah pointed out earlier in his breakdown, they're playing as a unit out there. It's just not one guy going out there getting all these sacks and causing all this havoc. They're playing as a unit. They're unselfish. They understand what Coach Dan Quinn wants out of this pass rush, and they're taking advantage of it. And to me, having a pass rush like that, it makes the entire defensive job, I'm talking about secondary included, it makes their job a heck of a lot easier out there. These guys are flying around and hitting on all cylinders, and that goes kudos to Dan Quinn and what he's been able to teach these guys.
They got these guys playing for one another, man. Like you say, what Isaiah showed y'all earlier about how D-Law came inside and took 2 guys and allowed Dante Fowler to go out there and fight one-on-one and make a play. In the same way with Neville Gallimore earlier, they hit a linebacker in the A-gap, and that confused the center and guard. He came free. So these guys, they're working hard. The scheme is perfect. I mean, Quinn knows his players. Bohannon is the run guy, Neville Gallimore is the rush guy, and everybody's playing their role, and this is what's making this team successful defensively.
Yeah, and it's complementary football, playing back and forth. We talked about it with the run game, but with the way this defense is playing, this is a next-level elite defense. And, hey, we've heard of the Legion of Boom. We've heard of Saxonville. Somebody's got to come up with a nickname of the defense. Maybe it's Mike McCarthy. We'll talk to him when we come back with more Cowboys OT after this. Coaches around the NFL always talk about playing your seasons in quarters. Well, through the first 4 weeks of the season, the Cowboys are 3-1 and absolutely have an opportunity to be a contender in the NFC East and really in the NFC based off of what they've shown in 3 straight wins. Let's hear from Mike McCarthy, the Cowboys head coach, at the podium at AT&T Stadium.
David?
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. It's just the latest example of how this team has responded since Dak's injury, and either offense or defense at key parts of the game seem to make plays that kind of help shift the momentum.
Yeah, I think clearly the football team's keeping it in perspective. Clearly understanding this is a big division game. And it's just like every week. There's certain things you focus on as far as how you want to play in specific situations, and I think our players have just done a really good job of staying true to expectations of their particular role. What we're trying to do as far as running the ball. Our run defense. I thought the first half, they obviously had some run production, and in the message at halftime was pick up the run defense, and I thought our defense did a great job of that. So obviously we're keeping the point totals down, 10 points. Offense, we were able to hit a couple big plays, and I think we had 3 or 4 penalties, first downs, from shot plays and so forth. But I thought we did a nice job in the first half on third down, but not as well in the second down. So once again, you got the ebb and flow, focus and really confidence that they have in one another. It's it's definitely building each week, and this is a very good home win for us.
Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Initial assessment of Michael Gallup first game back made an impact with his hands, but also the 2 downfield penalties for the Commanders.
Yeah, definitely. Michael. You better be on your game, particularly vertically. But it was good to get him into the flow of the rest of the offense. So it's great to have him back, and I think it's obvious what he means to us, particularly with our offensive perimeter group.
Mike, tonight again, you fall behind for the only time. Cooper Rush leads a 75-yard touchdown drive. They score to narrow it to 5 in the third quarter. He responds with another and he did that in New York too. Just his play tonight and what he's done responding to the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think Cooper's presence and his the way he handles the in-game adjustments is really a real positive for us. I think clearly the way the game was called defensively. I thought they did a very good job challenging us with their run defense. They gave us a nickel corner blitz that we hadn't seen much of twice. That was they hit us on that. So in point I'm making is we got hit with some plays, and but I thought he managed the down and distances, didn't overreact to it, didn't try to force the football, and I thought he did a good job trying to stay on time for even when it was the down and distances were lopsided at some points in that game. You think about the field position, we really didn't get it flipped there until the fourth quarter. We had to put some heat on the punter, and was able to get decent, because we have tremendous respect for him coming into the game. So field position, Cooper just staying the course, defense holding the 10, a lot of good things to build off of today.
Coach Chris Hanks, Fox 4. What did you think of did you see the reaction of Gallup's teammates after his touchdown catch, and what did you think of that?
Oh, definitely. I'll tell you, I know I talk about the locker room and just the way these men are connected. One of the things, last night in the team meeting, the highlight tape, and just to see other players celebrate the other side of the ball. It's something that really stood out in our clips last night, and I think you obviously felt that again today. So I think it's just a reflection of the connection that this locker room has.
Coach, Trevon Diggs, in training camp you said that you expected him to make a year 2 jump. A guy with 11 picks, obviously a lot of people are like, well, how do you do that? It looks like he's doing that now. Coverage, PBUs, tackling. Is that what you're seeing, that year 2 jump?
Oh, definitely. You're just thinking the 2 big fourth down plays. Those are they're as good as turnovers. So yeah, I thought Trayvon was big today. So yeah, I think he's kind of picked up right where he left off.
Coach Stumeyer from the Horn in Austin. Cooper seems to not only doing well, reading and everything, but distributing the ball. Everybody was getting the ball today. talk for a second about how much Cooper, looks at the different plays and looks at the different weapons that you guys have on offense.
Yeah, definitely. I think it really starts back with the plan, and he has an excellent understanding of the offense and the scheme, direction each week. And at the end of the day, ball distribution is key. You have to get the ball to your playmakers. Your perimeter players. We always talk about we got to drive faster than 55. We're looking for 55 touches, whether it's runs or catches, with our perimeter group a game, and really it's either 55, plus or 75% of your plays, that the ball needs to be distributed, and I think he does an excellent job of that.
Bob Delagiorno from Fox Sports Radio in Texarkana. You created turnovers on defense and you didn't turn it over on offense. If you continue to do that, how important is that going to be the rest of the year if you're going to keep winning?
Well, I mean, it's definitely real important. I mean, that formula's worked in the game of football for decades. It's definitely, most people spend a lot of time on it and emphasize it. We obviously do. So, we take the extra time during the course of the week, particularly on the Thursday practices, and do the team fundamentals. And at the end of the day, like we remind ourselves over and over again, the game is called football. It's about the ball. So it's you got to protect it, and one guy carries it, the other 10 cover it. And then, when they have it, we got 9 guys swarming to it and 2 guys containing, and we got to make sure we're, getting in position to strip it. And, obviously the turnover there in the fourth quarter was a huge play in the game.
A lot of credit to Mike McCarthy and his entire coaching staff, his support staff, because 3 weeks ago you could have really seen this Cowboys team written off, and you just start looking ahead without Dak Prescott and company involved. But now as we look ahead, you're 3-1. You've got 2 really tough opponents on the docket each of the next 2 weeks, but there continues to be a rally, a confidence, and a mindset around this Cowboys team that hadn't been there previously. Barry, when you look at the way that Coach McCarthy has set up everybody for success throughout these last 3 weeks, how has he been so effective without really Dak Prescott and some of the leaders that he normally has?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think defensively you look at it and they really taken it on their shoulders to be the strength of this team. We talked about it coming out of training camp that this defense was going to be the backbone of this team, and they've really taken that over. I mean, if you look at it, they've only gave up, 3 touchdowns through the first 4 games, I believe. So they're definitely taking over that strength of the team. And then you look at the offensively, I think Kellen Moore, Cooper Rush, they've done a great job of tailor-fitting that game plan to exactly what Cooper Rush can do well, and he's taken a great advantage of that. You look at these receivers, I know they had some drops early on in the season, but CeeDee Lamb, he's really starting to step up into that number 1 role. Noah Brown taking full advantage of his opportunities. And then you get Michael Gallup back, who surprised me. I mean, coming off your ACL injury, your first game back, he really was able to take the top off that defense, causing a couple penalties out there. So I just think it's a combination of the players stepping up as well as the coaches tailor-fitting the game plan to exactly what these players need to do.
Yeah, I think there's a number of things. I think you have some amazing leaders in terms of the coaching staff. This coaching staff is undervalued and is underrated. You have a lot of coaches that have been very successful as players. You have coaches that have been very successful as coaches, mentors, all those things that really go into it. And then you also look at it and you have one dominant phase, that's defense. You have one really good phase, that's special teams. And then offense, you just need them not to mess up. And that's exactly what we've seen up to date. If you have those 3 phases operating like that, you have a recipe for success.
Yeah, it's a little bit disconcerting whenever you have those first 2 options. It's a little concerning whenever you talk about the offense. At some point, you feel like that will click too, and then you're really cooking going into the latter parts of the season. Speaking of cooking, Zeke and CD have been cooking on these last couple of weeks. We'll hear from both of them when we come back with more Cowboys OT. Back here on Cowboys OT from the Star in Frisco, 25-10, the Dallas Cowboys over the Washington Commanders. Let's hear from Ezekiel Elliott and CeeDee Lamb, who both did their job and played a role in the Cowboys' win over Washington this afternoon.
Zeke, you guys had a total team effort. Congratulations on the win over Washington. Talk about the game.
Yeah, big game, big division game. All division games are big, but it's good to go get a win at home versus a tough division opponent.
The first catch pass, 32 yards from Cooper Rush, that set things off?
I think it did. I think it was a big, was it third down?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was a big third down conversion. Kind of got the ball rolling and needed that.
And the return of Michael Gallup, he got him a touchdown on his first day of that.
Yeah, it's good to see MG come back. I think he drew a couple penalties today and scored a touchdown, so it was definitely good to see him go out there and score on his first game back.
And one last one, the defense continues to show up. They're not letting anybody get more than 19 points, and this time they held Washington down low.
Yeah, I mean, we know our defense is good. We know they're good. They're so deep on the D-line. They just rotate those guys in and out, and they've been, causing opposing quarterbacks havoc. But, I mean, thankful to have that good defense, and we just got to figure it out on offense so we can figure out how to close it out.
3-1, congratulations, man.
Thank you. Go Cowboys.
What can you say about the resilience the last 3 games of this team?
I think it just showed like the grit, the mentality of this team. And we've had to grind it out. None of it's been pretty, but somehow we scratched and clawed and found a way to get a win.
I know a lot of times.
Ezekiel Elliott, but let's go hear from CeeDee Lamb and what he had to do. He had 90-plus yards and a touchdown, second of the year. CeeDee Lamb after the game.
It's a great offensive day.
Matches in a row on those plays, back to back to back. I mean, are you saying keep coming to me, or is it just the defense dictating what happens?
I'm ready for whatever. So if it happens 3 times, if it happens 4 times, I'm always available. And yeah, we can keep that rolling.
You mentioned MJ. I mean, to see him come back and then not really just play, but have a touchdown.
Right.
What can you say about that guy? How much he means to you?
I said it earlier in the week. If you don't account for him, he will. He's gonna have a day. And obviously he ain't get 100 yards, but he did get a touchdown. So I'm happy for my mans. Can't wait to go celebrate.
What are the emotions?
It was all real. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't it caught me by surprise because honestly when I saw the ball thrown, I thought it was for me and it was out of my reach. And I was like, you know what, dang. And then I turned and I saw 13. I was like, oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? So huge moment for us. I know he's happy right now, and I'm glad we got to, share that moment.
You mentioned he didn't get 100 yards.
Right.
You might have racked up close to 100 yards.
And penalties, facts. So technically, he's still 100 yards and a touchdown waiting. I told you. But nah, he's a very impactful player, and everything he does, is under a microscope. And shout out to my man, he's right there.
CeeDee Lamb after another big-time performance against the Washington Commanders. And Isaiah, a lot of criticism for him through the first 2 weeks of the season, and justifiably so. He did not look great. But these last 2 weeks, he's really stepped up and provided another weapon for this offense the way that we anticipated going into the year.
He's taking advantage of the opportunities that's being presented to him. When in the first few weeks of the season, he was not. He was not playing. He wasn't playing CeeDee Lamb ball. If you were to ask him, he would stand behind everything that we've said on this show. But now he has his comrade with him, and you can see the excitement he has as he's talking about Michael Gallup. And you're just going to continue to see more and more of CeeDee Lamb show up in the stat line.
When you look at this guy, man, everybody just, don't come into the league and say, hey, I'm a number one. He had to earn that. He had to go back and look at film and say, this is what I need to do on this route. This is what I need to do on this route. And once he got it figured out in his head, things started to click for him. And you see the success he's having now.
So you look at really what he was able to do, and then Michael Gallup drawing a couple of pass interference penalties on a couple of deep balls. It really just opens up a whole new level for Cooper Rush in this offense, and that will continue, of course, when Dak Prescott comes back over the next 2 weeks. But you look at how the Cowboys have had 3 straight wins. Can they continue that against 2 really tough opponents coming up on the docket, starting with the reigning Super Bowl champs? When we come back, we preview what the Cowboys can do well on Cowboys OT.
Cowboys OT was brought to you by Sleep Number. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
25-10, the Dallas Cowboys over the Washington Commanders here in Week 4 of the NFL season. They've now won 3 straight and improved to 3-1. They've also won 8 straight against their division after they went 6-0 last year, and they've won their first 2 against the NFC East here in 2022. Back here from the Globe Life Studios at the Star in Frisco, Barry Church, Nate Newton, Isaiah, stand back quickly, guys, as they move on to Week 5. SoFi Stadium and the Los Angeles Rams are coming up next. How do the Cowboys keep their momentum alive?
Offensively, keep playing that complementary football. Lean on your run game. Let that set up your passing attack. And defensively, keep doing what you're doing, but sew up that rushing game a little bit. We saw a little chinks in the armor out there against Washington. Sew that thing up.
I just think as long as you keep the penalties down, 4 for 20 today, that's great for the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys got to find something more offensively in order to be more productive on that side. You're going to face Aaron Donald, and then you obviously have Sean McVay on offense. You can't expect your defense to continue to play at this level.
Can the defense shut down an offense like what Los Angeles is going to bring?
They have the personnel, and they have the head coach. We're going to see.
Ooh, it's going to be fun to watch. That's a high-flying matchup coming up on Fox next week. For Barry, for Nate, and Isaiah, and our entire Dallas Cowboys crew, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Cowboys now 3-1. They get a win, 25-20 over Washington.